20 hours of editing and too much anime.
To jog your memory, the Pokemon Trainer was a newcomer in Super Smash Bros. Brawl and actually was one of the most unique ones. It was a character that really wasn't the character you fought with, but rather Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard. Basically a 3-in-1 character that used transformation. And if you don't remember them, I don't blame you, because Brawl was the only game that character was in. The only character of the three, Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, that made it back from Brawl was Charizard. And the poor guy too, he's been in Smash since 64, and it was only until Smash 4 where he made his own playable appearance. It really is Charizard's Bizarre Adventure. Yo, why you gotta expose me, fam? Alright, fair. I'm not a fan of the Pokemon series, but that doesn't mean I can't ever do the characters from the games. I gotta get them eventually. Yup. Alright, let's get into why this character was kinda poorly executed. I kinda wish he was executed, if you know what I mean. Pokemon Trainer as a whole is a representation of Generation 1 Pokemon and the core values of the series, such as the 3 main types of grass, water, and fire, and evolution. As you can see, the goal with this character was to literally place a Pokemon Trainer into Smash Bros, where you'd switch between your Pokemon for the correct situations. And this alone could have worked on paper if they had executed it properly, but that is not the only mechanic they chose to include. The Pokemon Trainer also introduced type differences to Smash. Yeah, these Pokemon can actually have super effective attacks on specific enemies, or be weak to other ones. Once I looked into it, the type advantages and disadvantages only apply to knockback, which means a strong attack will kill earlier if you're strong or weak against them. Another weird mechanic included only on the Pokemon Trainer's Pokemon was stamina. Essentially, each of these Pokemon have 120 points of stamina. For every second that passes or every attack you do, you lose 1 point of stamina. So doing the math, that's less than 2 minutes before all the stamina runs out. And if you do reach 0 stamina, the damage of your Pokemon's attacks are severely reduced. And as this example shows, this could be the difference between a KO. Pretty sure this was done to emulate PP in battles, but why? But the disappointment doesn't stop there, because cramming 3 characters into a single character slot brought upon other ramifications that the team may not have thought about. But I'll let their moves do the talking. Starting with this abomination. You gross. It's sad because as the character's titular character, all he does is stand around in the back and flail his arms around. Of course, only I would be hard-pressed to figure out if these arm movements actually had meaning, and they do. They actually correspond to the direction of special moves, whether you're doing it upwards, left, or right. Then there are 3 more for aerial versions of the same thing. Up, left, and right. Only I would go through all of this to show you the pointless transitions of a character moving their arms in the background, because you know I have to do this series. I have to do this series. I'm forced to do this series. I don't have a choice in it anymore. A few of his costumes relate to other famous Pokemon trainers, such as Leaf from Fire Red and Brendan from Emerald. These ones, I don't fucking know. Squirtle has its shiny and Wartortle colors. Ivy's got its shinies, and Charizard has its shiny for Charmander and its Charmeleon color palettes. One interesting fact of the trainer is that he was intended to do more. Some unused animation files reveal that the trainer was, at one point, planned to jump around. To get up, and get down. Possibly for the Subspace Emissary, as in that mode, the trainer usually just appears at the start of the room, and if they can't continue walking, they just don't appear again. But now we can go into the characters you're actually here for, the Pokemon. And when it comes to their moves, they're all pretty lackluster. In fact, it's really only their specials that we need to talk about, because those are the only moves that distinctly relate to the Pokemon games. To begin, their final smash is Triple Finish, a super finisher move that combines 3 of the Pokemon's strongest type attacks: Solar Beam, Fire Blast, and Hydro Pump. The anime actually plays a big part into this character too, as the voice actress of the trainer sounds like Ash, and each of the Pokemon saying their name as they attack.
Squirtle. Ivysaur.
But now onto the first Pokemon in this group, Squirtle. Squirtle is the tiny turtle Pokemon. His Smash moveset heavily is based around using his body, tail, and shell as physical attacks, while having several water-type moves to extend his hitbox. Due to the naturally simple-looking design, his moves don't really pop, and they all kind of look the same. As such, his specials are really the only place that have some spunk. First, there's Water Gun, a move the turtle Pokemon can learn through evolution. Except in Smash Bros., it doesn't do damage, it just pushes enemies. Which actually doesn't match how it worked in the game, so Then, there's Withdraw, a move where it strengthens the user's defense as they go into their shell. In Smash, it does increase the defense of Squirtle, but it can also be used as a moving attack with low damage. Finally, there's Waterfall, Squirtle's recovery, and it's a move you actually can't learn through evolution, but rather TM or HM. Outside of battle in some of the later Pokemon games, it's an ability that lets you go up or down waterfalls, which is a trait it was heavily inspired by in the recovery. Now those are the moves that are named and labeled, but there are other generic Pokemon moves we can see in Squirtle, such as Tackle, Skull Bash, and Tail Whip. Ivysaur does the same song and dance, except just as you'd expect, a dancing quadruped kinda just falls on its face. You idiot! I will give credit where it's due. Ivysaur is Smash's first quadruped character, meaning they had to get creative with its moves as arms and legs were out of the picture. However, using its body, bulb, and vines, it gets the job done. For specials, there's Bullet Seed, a vertical shooting projectile that, in actual fights, is near useless. Bullet Seed originates from the move of the same name in the Pokemon games. Then, there's Razor Leaf, which actually looks and functions as it did in the Pokemon games too, letting you hit multiple enemies with a single use of the attack. Then there's a Vine Whip. Who doesn't love tether recoveries? Because I love them! And of course, this move sort of matches how it worked in the Pokemon games. But this isn't the first time we see these vines in action, as a Bulbasaur in the anime actually used the vines similar to Ivysaur's grab. Like Squirtle, there possibly are other moves like Tackle, but actually its up and down aerials sort of remind me of the move Poison Powder, though unfortunately it doesn't actually do poison damage. Yeah, the 3-character transformation character of the Pokemon trainer, it really screwed over Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, because it's like 3 half-baked characters put into one. They weren't really full or fleshed out characters, but they really relied on the other to make the character whole. And that might be a problem from the Pokemon series, because the Pokemon series, you collect all these Pokemon, that's the whole point, you gotta catch them all. But each of these Pokemon individually, they only have a couple of traits and abilities that are really all that unique. Sure, you'll find a couple that are cool like Charizard, but for the other starters and pre-evolutions, they're very, very lackluster. So it's very easy to see why they chose Charizard to return out of the 3 of them, but it's also because they got rid of Transformation in Smash 4, so they had to pick one. And I can really see Sakurai's mind running when he had to choose one, because it was just like... Choosing Charizard out of the 3 to make a return makes sense. I suppose that had to do with him being the most iconic of the bunch, and, well, he's on the Pokemon Red box art. I think he's one of the only Pokemon I ever heard about when I was on the playground. But I'm also willing to bet they chose him because he had the most move potential. Like, look at Charizard anatomically. He has a huge jaw, teeth, a long neck, a tail with a fiery tip, thick legs, and 2 gigantic wings, not to mention his fire breath. Now, in comparison to Squirtle and Ivysaur, it's no contest. With Charizard, there's enough there to work with. You can have some unique moves just from his basic design before even considering his canonical moves. And I feel like the way they look make a lot more sense to the player, as there's distinguishable traits between if a move is strong or weak, fast or slow. Anyways, the Smash 4 version of Charizard rids itself of all these annoying gimmicks that plagued the Pokemon trainer, and changes a few moves around to let this Reptar-looking ass look like a real, fleshed-out fighter. Charizard overall is a heavyweight fighter that doesn't feel like one. He's got fast ground speed thanks to his wings, 3 jumps overall, and moves that assist him in movement. Thanks to the design of his character, he has plenty of moves that reach far while also doing some good damage. What I'm getting at is, though he's not high on the tier list, he has potential and you can have a lot of fun with him. First thing they buffed were his costumes, such as a reference to Charmeleon, Shiny Charmander, Rayquaza, Aerodactyl, Golbat, and his shiny form from Gold and Silver. And I don't know why they didn't do this black one. Maybe they thought it would clash with his new Final Smash, Mega Charizard X, and holy shit, that's metal. Till you realize it's the same as Yoshi's Final Smash. Now, if you didn't know, Smash 4 was released around the time X and Y was, and that game introduced Mega Evolutions, which prompted them to include Mega Charizard X. And then there's this pale costume that has me stumped. It could be a reference to Mega Charizard Y, or just an older picture of Charizard from the 90s. Or Lickitung. Yeah, it's Lickitung. Oh. But finally, let's get into Charizard's moves. First, there's Flamethrower, a generic fire move that shoots fire at enemies. Since Smash 64, we've seen him use it. It's kind of touching to see him actually use it in his moveset now. Charizard's ability, however, is more akin to Bowser's Flame Breath, where it regresses in power and distance over time. Then, Rock Smash, which was changed from its side special to down special in Smash 4. And to think, those two characters weighed him down more than a rock. And the weird thing is, in the games, this isn't even a move he can learn, let alone a fire-type move. It's just Rock Smash. Like, what is he saying to himself when he's pulling this out? He's like,
that is a nice bow.
Now, since they moved Rock Smash to down special, his new side B is Flare Blitz. While it's quite strong, it has recoil damage of 10%, so you can use it, but it's predictable and damages you as well. Also, it does appear in one of Charizard's victory animations. Charizard can utilize this move in Generation 4 onwards. It actually does a similar thing to the Smash 4 move. Then, Fly, Charizard's recovery. Essentially allows Charizard to fly upwards, but in Smash 4 it has a pretty strong last hitbox with super armor. Now in Brawl, we actually saw Charizard glide around thanks to the gliding ability from that game. But since Meta Knight ruined it for everyone, it was removed in Smash 4. And I don't think I need to say this, but while you can use it in battle, you can use it outside of battle as an HM ability. And other than his specials, Charizard has a bunch of other moves that can be derived from moves from his games, such as several moves that look like a wing attack, Dragon Claw and Tail, both very strong moves in Smash and in Pokemon, Seismic Toss that looks similar to how it looks in the anime, and potentially Earthquake in its down smash. So those are all the moves of the Pokemon, and just from these moves, we can get an idea of how they chose to design just Charizard and the Pokemon Trainer. The Pokemon Trainer had 3 characters put into one that had a lot of interplay between these characters, and you had to switch between them for certain situations, while also considering type differences and stamina, and Charizard himself was just really fun to play. I don't really want to discredit them that much though, because it was a cool idea. They tried something different with this character that was different from all the other Pokemon characters, and maybe if they executed it better, it could have worked, but there were 3 huge problems with trying to make the Pokemon Trainer fit within a game like Smash. Number 1, forced switching. This is due to the Pokemon switching to the next one in the rotation each time you get KO'd. And if your stamina is low, that means you'll also probably have to switch. This doesn't let the player play who they want to out of the 3, and it kind of removes the whole appeal of the character altogether. 2, the type differences. It's a cool theory, but when you have no water or grass type moves in Smash, and before you say it, that doesn't count because it only pushes enemies, Ivysaur rightfully gets screwed. There are tons of fire attacks in Smash, so Ivysaur is going to be killed more early than Squirtle and Charizard. It's kind of like, what's the point of this mechanic if only 3 characters can utilize it? And 3, underdeveloped characters. As I said at the start, the concept here was to represent Gen 1 Pokemon. Evolution, switching between Pokemon, type differences, and strategy. This character is sort of like when you're at a busy point in your life and you're trying to balance social life, your own happiness, exercise, and work. You try to balance too much and it crumbles apart. Yeah. But you see what I mean. These 3 characters weren't added because the team thought they were unique. They wanted the concept to work, not these characters. Like Ivysaur, you can't tell me that they added Ivysaur because they thought the character had potential. They added it because they were obligated to fill out these 3 evolutions of the 3 starters. I really want to see the design document for this character, because essentially, it's 3 half-ass Pokemon and a trainer they had to model. And it's all very, like, confusing to me, because Smash, they're always saying that they're scrambling for resources, and they try adding these clones at the end to try and add as much as they can to the game. But why do this character? That's like 3 characters you could have done otherwise. You could have had Charizard, maybe even Mewtwo, and then whoever the hell else. But instead you chose to do this weird character with all these half-assed mechanics and overcomplicated features that no one in their right mind wanted. Everyone just wanted Charizard. He's so cute. Nobody asked for Ivysaur. Nobody asked for Ivysaur. If you wanted Ivysaur, you probably put milk in your cereal first. Anyways, that is it for the Pokemon trainer of Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, and why I do think that it was poorly executed. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate these characters. I joke around, like, you know, just joking around, but I don't hate Squirtle and Ivysaur, and I kind of do wish that they could have made it back to Smash 4, but if they had to choose one, I do agree that it had to be Charizard. But that's it for me. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and if you're not subscribed, I don't see why not. If you like these types of videos, I still have 30 characters to do and know your moves, so if you don't want to miss them, subscribe. And next time, we'll be doing a character that's a little greener, so, and they appear differently in this game. Wait. What?